guys, I'm Laura Vitale. Today I want to remake a recipe that I made about 10 years ago that, I feel like it needs to be redone to really do it justice because the quality back then wasn't great, but the recipe is phenomenal. Nothing about it really has changed, and it's just so good. It is my classic molten chocolate lava cake. It's just so good. If you're not a fan of the molten center, because I know some people aren't, then you can just pour this batter in an 8x8 and turn it into brownies. And you're done. Simple as that. All right, let's get started. I've got some chocolate here. I've got a mixture of bittersweet and semi-sweet chocolate. These are chocolate bars. They just bake up better than chocolate chips, but if that's all you have, by all means try those. I've got powdered sugar and flour with a pinch of salt, butter, and then you need a mixture of eggs and egg yolks. And a splash of vanilla, which I will go get in just a second. I left it. But before you get ahead of yourself, you need to prep your ramekins. I've got 6-ounce ramekins that I sprayed really well. Now, the spray you want to use is a baking spray that's with flour. Let me show you the one I'm using right now. It's just this one, and I'm going to tell you why this makes a big difference. It makes sure that your cakes don't stick to the ramekins. If you were just using spray, you would have to dust them with cocoa powder to make sure that they would release easy. But because that particular spray has flour in it, I don't need to do that. Sometimes I feel like when you are doing something like this with cocoa powder, the outside tends to be really bitter. So I tend to use that spray because I don't want that. So that's prepped. My oven's preheated to 425. And now it's really easy. I'm just going to go ahead and add my butter. You want to just cut your butter into little pieces on top of your chocolate, and I'm just going to pop these into the microwave for about a minute or so. You want to do it in 20 to 30 second intervals and just give everything a stir every 30 seconds or so, because you don't want your chocolate to scorch, because once you scorch your chocolate, you're going to have to start all over. So I'm going to go do that, and while that's melting, I'm going to separate my eggs and get my vanilla. That is lovely. My chocolate mixture took exactly a minute and 15 seconds to melt completely. I've got my eggs ready here. Remember, 3 eggs and 3 egg yolks. And now everything pretty much goes in at the same time. Well, we'll do all the eggs and the vanilla first, just to make sure we don't get any lumps and we've got a lot of movement. Lovely. Make sure your chocolate is not super hot when you add your eggs, because you will end up with chocolate scrambled eggs. I made that mistake when I very first moved here to the US. My dad had gotten me a box of pre-made brownies to make, and in the back of the box it told you to melt the chocolate, add the eggs. I did it all at the same time and there was chocolate scrambled eggs. So there's your fun fact of the day. That is perfect. And now we're going to add the dry ingredients. I like to sift. You guys know me. I can't stand sifting. It's literally one of those things that I feel like, I don't know. It's not my favorite thing. But when you're working with things like cocoa powder and you're working with things like powdered sugar, which I'll show you in just a second, it's really lumpy. And if you didn't sift it, then you'd run the risk of just having like lumps of dry bits all over your finished product. See that? You would have those lumps running through. So I just don't want that. So I just push it through. Nice and silky. It's beautiful. You're not going to go through all the trouble of making something like this just to have it ruined by not taking a few extra seconds to sift. Even though I hate sifting, I do it anyway. I'm just going to go ahead and switch to a spatula just to make sure it's all incorporated. Give myself a flour bath over here. That is glorious. I'm just going to go ahead and fill my ramekins. I could have used a large ice cream scoop to help me out a little bit, but you know what? It's fine. It is fine. I just take a measuring, like a little 1/4 cup measuring cup, just to help myself out here. I'm just going to evenly fill all 4. That's it. Now let's talk oven temperature while we have a second, shall we? You tell I haven't really had a lot of adult interaction. The temperature, the time you cook this for is really up to you. I don't think you should cook these for any longer than 14 minutes because they do need to sit for a few minutes, and they will, start to set as they sit. You can cook them as little as 12 minutes. and then they'll be really molten. But any longer than 14 minutes, and you're gonna run the risk of them setting within minutes before you even set them to the table. So, you know, that's really your option. Like I said, 14 minutes seems to be the right temperature for me and my oven and all that jazz, but play around. You know, like as soon as they sit, 5 minutes goes by, the center is not so molten. A few more minutes goes by, the center ain't molten at all. So keep that in mind. I'm just going to continue to fill these. Okay, last one. As I said, for me, 14 minutes. I will let them sit for a few minutes, and then I will invert them and show you what we're working with, and I can't wait. I really can't wait. So wish me luck. Nothing burns. Nothing goes wrong. All right, these were in the oven for 14 minutes. Now these are going to be really molten, but that's just how I like them. If you like yours more set, by all means, cook them longer. But that's how we like it. I should have probably let it just sit a little longer because as they sit, as I said to you earlier, as they sit, they will set a little bit more. But truth be told, I want to take this picture for the thumbnail and I want it to look molten. So I have to act fast. But ordinarily, you will let these rest just a little bit longer. And you know me, I'm gross when I eat. I like everything to be like melty together, the chocolate, the ice cream, the cake part, all of it. Oh my word. It never gets old. It's one of those things that is so basic. The ingredients are so simple, but it always tastes like $1,000,000. And if you really wanted to take things to another level, you could add, I'm sorry, liqueur to this, amaretto. You could add an orange liqueur. You can add whatever you want, and it would really make this even more spectacular. But as is, it is delightful. Go to lauriandthekitchen.com for the recipe. I hope you enjoy spending time with me.